Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Fireside Chat series. My name is Fred Kojo, and I'll be your host. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by, a person that you've probably heard about or seen a lot of his work, but we are pretty excited to have him here with us. He goes by the name Mr. Francis Y. Brown. He's the CEO and creative director of AnimaxFYB Studios located in East Legon, Ghana. AnimaxFYB Studios aims to be the world's leading producer and provider of authentic and celebrated African stories. And that is why I'm, so proud of the work that Francis is doing, using animation to tell the African and Ghanaian story. Francis, again, welcome to the Fireside Chat series on the Ghanaian American Journal.
Thank you very much, Fred, for having me here.
Thank you. So again, we are really excited because you're doing some pretty amazing things, and I think Ghanaians everywhere should hear about it, and that's why we really wanted to speak to you, so we can all help tell the story or share the story and ensure that everybody is aware of what you are doing, what your studio is doing. Can you please give us a brief insight into your background? Who is Francis Y. Brown?
All right, so Francis Y. Brown, first of all, is a human being. Is a human being who hails from Ghana, which is the southwestern part of Ghana. I was born to Madam Zohaifa Sirina and Patrick Kofi Brown, Mr. Patrick Kofi Brown. At school, I did my elementary school and my senior secondary school at Ghana, that's Bishop Esia, St. Anthony of Padua Primary School, and St. John's School, respectively. So after secondary school, I did some work in the community, and I also worked in a graphic designing company called Home Studios.
Okay.
The reason why I did that was because there wasn't enough funds for me to pursue my education, and I wanted to pursue my education in animation. So the idea was to at least work a bit to get some money and experience to travel outside the country to go learn, because I didn't have any idea or information about any film or animation school in Ghana. Now, after some years, after 2 years, my boss at Home Studios gave me an idea. He told me that there's actually a film school in Ghana and that they teach animation, so I should try them. So fortunately for me, NAFTI, that's National Film and Television Institute, was opening up for new admissions. So I got a form, I applied, and out of about 3,000 students applying that year, they selected only about 100, shortlisted 100. And out of the 100, they had common entrance exams and also interviews to pick 35 students, final students, to be enrolled that year. And I was fortunate to be part of those 35 students who were enrolled in the year 2010. So that is how my animation journey started. And I schooled for 4 years at NAFTI. I graduated as overall best film student. Excellent. And also I won best animation for my year.
Great. That sounds very great. So you basically learned your animation training at NAFTI in Ghana.
Yes, I did. I did a lot of training at school where I learned a lot of the do's and the don'ts of the craft. Whilst at the same time, I tried my possible best to learn on the side from the internet, and also I made friends. All thanks to the internet, I made good friends from other film schools like Vancouver Film School, Goblin. So I was interacting with other classmates of mine, and they were giving me tutorials and also things that they've been learning at school. So that gave me the insight into what the international schools are also doing.
Okay, so briefly, can you tell us why animation? Why didn't you decide to do anything else but animation?
So animation has always been something that I love. I grew up watching animations,
Mhm.
basically.
Oh,
And I also grew up as an artist. I was born as an artist. Everything that I found around me, I saw was just art. Like, for instance, I don't know if you know about this. If you have a leaking ceiling and it rains, sometimes when it dries, it draws a whole lot of patterns on the ceiling. So when I'm lying down, I see all types of faces in that leak. So I try to connect it by
mm,
drawing it in my books. Or I look at the walls, some stains or anything like that. I see patterns. I see human faces. I see stick lying around or wood lying around. I start carving it. I get clay and I start modeling. So the interest in art was there from day one. And
okay.
luckily for me, I had a grandmother who was very encouraging. So she really inspired me to do more. She was always encouraging me to continue with my art. And when I got to the stage where I had to decide what course I'm supposed to do at the secondary school, it was very clear cut for me that it was visual art. So my father also encouraged me at that point to go do visual art. Then, as I was doing it, he also told me that, do you know that you're always watching animations and buying new animation VHS? And when you draw very strong poses. So think about it and just think about it that it can be a career path for you.
Mhm.
But before he even said that, I'd already thought of that, and I was like, okay, then we are all thinking the same thing and we are seeing the same thing. So animation has always been something that has been in my
Okay.
head and also on my heart to do. But I never knew how to make it happen. Like, how
Right.
can I draw a character for it to move? That the process of it was more like a mystery to me.
Mm,
So when I got the opportunity to get some books to read, I actually read animation books before I even got the opportunity to use computer. That's Pentium 1. No, it was Pentium Pro at Home Studios to
wow.
even try the software.
Yeah.
So my boss will have these CDs, and you go online to download some tutorials and give it to me to watch. My boss's name is Barnabas Colley. So he will give me the tutorials to watch. I'll watch over and over and over again, but there was no software to practice with it. So I'm having all these ideas and all this knowledge, but nowhere to exhibit them.
Right.
So he got to a point where he was able to purchase um, the software, and he installed it so that I could use it whilst I'm at the studio. So sometimes I could even spend about 48 hours at the studio just because I want to be close to the machine to use it.
Wow. So that's pretty good. And I like the fact that your father saw in you that you had this gift and he encouraged you to pursue it. That's, tells the story of how important fathers are, mothers and fathers, our parents are in our lives, so it's good that he saw that very early in your life. So after NAFTI, you basically went on your own. I'm sure you worked in different areas. How did the journey of AnimaxFYB Studios begin?
Yeah, so after NAFTI, I mean, I made a very strong decision because when I was about to complete my 4 year course, my degree course, I had that question come to me: what next? So when that what next hit me, I started thinking, and it was only two things that came into my mind. I mean, it was three things, but the third one is the hardest in what I did. The first thing was for me to travel outside the country to go use my talent in some other studio, because all that I wanted to do is to produce animation films. I didn't want to be working in any advertising agency.
Mm-hmm.
Because over here, there was no animation studio that was running 24/7, and all that they do is to produce animation films, short films, series, long format films, and all that. So the second idea was, if I'm not able to travel out, then I will just apply for employment in any of the advertisement agencies, where I will be like a graphic designer or motion graphic artist. But that wouldn't also make me happy, because honestly, after a month, after a week, after 2 weeks, once that project or the commercial that you worked on is done, they will shelve it. And I don't want that. I like things that have longevity. So I made a strong decision of starting my own studio that will also give others who have the same edge as I do to be able to tell stories, to be able to come to the studio and learn how to produce animation to tell stories. So that is when I made that bold step. But before I made that bold step, NAFTI retained me at the school as a teaching assistant for a year during my national service. And as I was uh, offering my service as a national service student at NAFTI, I was also simultaneously running the studio. So that's when I started running AnimaxFYB Studios.
Okay, great. So we are joined by many people from different places around the world. So this is good. I just want to give a quick shout out to some of them. We have Anthony Owusu Japan watching from Connecticut. We have William Amankwa from Ghana. Rosario Vego is watching from Spain. Adoma Apia is from Ghana, watching from Ghana. We have people from all over. Kwanokra is watching. John Ebenezer Hifron is watching. We have Ebenezer Kweku Amuzu. You probably know some of these names. But we thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you joining us on this program. As you all know, we're speaking to Francis White Brown, the founder and CEO, creative director of AnimaxFYB Studios. So please, if you have any comments, if you have any questions for him, feel free to type it in there, and we'll see it, we'll read it, so he can definitely have some time to answer them. So as we continue with our questions, Francis, can you tell me, how do you choose animation to tell your stories? As you know, there are so many African stories or Ghanaian stories there. How do you use animation, and why do you decide to employ animation to tell some of those stories?
I think the first thing that I can say is because that's the medium that I'm very conversant with. I could always use live action, but live action has been overused in this part of the world. Animation is more or less like still green. It's not been tapped yet, and animation gives you a whole lot of flexibility when it comes to your imagination. You can stretch your imagination to the highest point, and you still get away with it. But when you do live action, there are a bit of limitations here and there. So that is one point. And also, another point is animation is very appealing to a larger audience than live action. When you put a human face to a character, sometimes your audience can be put off. They might feel like, okay, I'm not connecting with this character because of the look of that particular person or something about that person. But if you're using a figurative character, it makes it more appealing and adorable for people to watch, easy to watch than, yeah.
Okay, that's great. So I know you've done a lot of work in the past. So we're gonna get an opportunity to look at a few of them. We'll show some videos, so our audiences can take, have an appreciation of some of the things that you've done. You didn't just start from this Mmofra program. You've done a lot of things before this. So before I get to that, I just, well, you know what, you did some work called Freedom. And I
Yeah.
personally, when I took a look at it, I thought this was pretty neat because it's very uplifting, it's encouraging, it's telling a story, of our history as Africans or, as Ghanaians, and is leading into something, right? And,
Yeah.
using animation to do this. So this is not just for kids. Somebody would think, oh, animation is just for kids. There's just some cartoons. No, this is a powerful story that you told from this one called Freedom. So I'm going to take some time to show our audience. So please bear with me for a second.
Sure.
It is what it in fact concerns. Is freedom the very nature of man? And the proof is the length to which a man will go to regain it once taken. He will break loose his chains. He will decimate his enemies. He will try and try and try against all odds, against all prejudices, to get home.
Okay, so well, there you have it. This for me is very, very touching. It's very inspiring. What led you to do this piece, Freedom?
I think somewhere in the year 2017, a particular news hit the whole world, and I was really gutted at it. That particular news was when CNN undercover journalists brought out a whole news article of how human beings are being still enslaved and being sold off to some part of the world. And this was happening in Libya. And most of these people were coming from West Africa, most especially Nigeria. So I felt this shouldn't be happening, especially in 21st century. It shouldn't be happening. And even if it's happening, it shouldn't be happening in Africa, or it shouldn't be happening where Africans are doing it to ourselves because of what we've already experienced over the years. Some centuries ago, we've suffered a lot from this same type of inhumane actions. And for us to come back over after about 200 years, coming back to repeat the same thing on ourselves wasn't right. So I felt, okay, let me do something on this same topic, but then use the idea of not just talking about, because when it comes to slavery, it's not just about human trafficking, but it goes down to like economic slavery. There is also child molestation. There's a whole lot when it comes to slavery. Like it goes deep. So I use this opportunity to tell such a story.
Wow, it's very powerful. It's very powerful, and I will encourage you to continue doing that because there are so many societal issues that goes around on in our communities and our country, and sometimes we just need creative ways to tell them. and kind of help people understand what, the impact is, So this was one of them, and for me, I think it's phenomenal. So, keep doing that. I know you have a team, you're not doing all this by yourself because a lot of work, goes into this. Can you give us, an insight into your team, who, the people, or the number of people you're working with, and, anybody that you're collaborating with?
Yeah, so AnimaxFYB Studios is it's a studio, and it employs about 10 to 12 people.
Nice.
And from those who don't come to the office to work, those that we work on the side with, we are about 3. So we say 15 workers under the studio.
Nice.
But when there are any major productions, we're able to scale up by also working with other freelancers who are in the same field. So we're able to even scale up to about 60. If you look at the credit list that we shared on Mmofra, we worked with about 60 different creatives and administrators to make sure that we're able to pull it through. Yeah, we love collaboration because we know that for what we do in animation is just like you building a whole world. So there's no way one man or one person can think they'll sit in their rooms and make it happen, unless you are Jeff Liu. And you, after doing that production, he said he's never going to do that again, and he broke him down. He's not been able to do anything after that. Jeff Liu was the producer for Killer Bee.
Oh, okay.
He did everything by himself, and that project broke him down, basically. So animation is a whole teamwork thing. So we always try as much as possible to extend our hands to any other creative that we can work with.
Great. That's great. So you're not doing this just for yourself. You're creating employment. You're working with collaborators, freelancers. People are getting, income from the work that you and your team are doing, and like you said, you have over 60 people working on the Mafra project alone. That's pretty powerful. So, I mean, I've heard there's been suggestions that perhaps you should use Ghanaian languages for some of your shows, especially Mafra, because, it will kind of help sell the Ghanaian language or bring it far to international audiences. Is it something that, you've considered? Is it something that you think will help your work? Because I know your goal is to not only, you want to reach a wider audience across the globe. So is that something that you've been able to incorporate, or would you be able to incorporate into your work?
Yeah. So these are definitely things that we are currently thinking about how creatively can we incorporate it, because if we are looking at the international market and also hitting other countries and other cultures, we need to find a way to make it work. Yes, we can use local languages in our productions, in our content, but in a way, at some point, if we don't take time, it might make it a little bit limited to just people who truly understand, apart from subtitles. And when kids are watching content, all that they care about mostly is about their pictures and the storyline. So if you start bringing in subtitles, you start losing their attention. So you're trying to find ways and means to make this particular thing come into the picture, where we are old enough to use our local language throughout, and we say, okay, we don't mind. You should still try and understand it.
Right.
I mean, the Japanese do it, the Chinese do it, so I think we can do it.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good to hear. AnimaxFYB was birthed only about 6 years ago, right? But you've received numerous awards. You receive an award from I believe the Ghana Movie Awards. Is that you've received several international and local awards. But you know, I'm curious, what is this the reason how you've been able to move very fast and you've done some significant work? What's the secret behind it?
The secret. So first of all, I'll say, I don't know if I can say this, but first of all, I'll say it's grace. My first secret is grace, because a lot of artists are doing great stuff out there, but they've not been able to move as fast as I've been able to move. Because another thing is I'm very critical on work, on details. I'm very particular about what type of story I'm telling, and who am I targeting this story to. I pay attention to quality. I don't give room for any mediocre work at all. So if the work is not looking as planned, it's never coming out. I've I've had about some few works that we've shelved because we felt no, this is not our standard. Because when it comes out, it's going to break our reputation. Because we want to be able to grow to a certain level where we can easily rub shoulders with all these big boys in the industry.
Yeah.
So we keep on learning and upgrading ourselves to be able to match and be a par on these kind of content. So yeah, these are the things that makes us stand out all the time and winning all these international and local awards.
That's excellent. Yeah, you did win the best animation movie at the 2018 Ghana Movie Awards. You know, I thought that's a very significant thing. Now, do you think Ghanaians have fully embraced your work? You know, is this something that's a household name, or is that journey still ongoing?
I would say it's an ongoing journey because Ghanaians ourselves have not fully come to understand what animation is and the potential of animation. But it's gradually getting into the space because I noticed that a lot of people are now trying to use animation for their music videos. They're trying to use it for commercials. Commercials has been something that animation has always explored on since the 90s because of people like Zingaro and all that. But now the demand for it has become huge and people are aggravating to it. Yeah, when it comes to also Africa in general, West Africa and all that, I think animation is playing a major role because all the big agencies and organizations keep coming to us, the animators, to produce work for them because they feel like certain sensitive topics you can't reenact them with real human beings. Then it means that you are trying to endorse such practices or whatever it is. But if you're using animated figures, then you can draw away from the sensitivity of it and point focus on the issue that you want to talk about. So yeah, animation is growing. We have international festivals in Africa and outside Africa recognizing people like ourselves for the fact that our animation won Best Animation in Africa in 2016 was a major thing. And even myself, when I was a student coming out with Algo Collie, we got shortlisted. The first West African student to be shortlisted in Student Oscars was a great feat. So it goes to tell you that there is certain attention paid to animation.
Excellent. That's good. That's good. And we certainly hope that it continues to grow, you know, because we want to see a lot more of this, you know, because there are so many ways we can tell our stories without, you know, doing movies that usually doesn't cross our continent sometimes, you know. So animation and, you know, how far you've been able to come, it's amazing. So let's continue pushing it. But so now, you know, it's time for us to talk about our big hit, you know, Mmofra. So last week, I actually had the opportunity to watch it myself. And then before my kids went to school, I had them, watch it with me. And then when they came back, we spent some time watching it again. And for me, it was, quite humbling because, yeah, we've all been used to watching a whole bunch of different shows. But here we are, we have a Ghanaian made animation, a platform on Amazon Prime. You just click on your TV and here it is. And it says Mmofra, and it's just amazing to see. So we don't have to travel or find someone to give us a tape, recording or anything like that. Here it is, right on your TV. So we enjoyed it, and we're going to continue watching every new episode that you have. I like the part that the kid was eating, I think was eating benku and fish or something like that. That's pretty interesting. So audiences, if you have joined us, we again talking to Francis White Brown. He's a creative director for AnimaxFYB Studios. He's the creator of Mafra, the animation platform, which is currently on Amazon Prime. You can watch it right from home. Check it out. It's amazing. Your kids will love it. So before we get into it, I want to show a quick clip of Mafra, and then we'll ask some few questions about that. So please stay with us.
What's all the noise about?
You asked for it, and we're bringing it to you. It's the all-new Mafra channel, Africa's very own children's entertainment platform for ages 2 to 13.
We have all that we need here.
We've got a program for Mafra of all ages, and that means we've got all the kids covered.
This is amazing. I could really get used to this.
And you know what that means? We'll all be
better together.
The best part is, we will have so much fun doing it. We can go anywhere in the world and see anyone we want.
That is fantastic.
Today's lunch was delicious.
Okay, so that was pretty neat. It's really nice to see these things and watch a Ghanaian made animation that's so much high quality, and the storyline is amazing. There's so much for kids to learn. So Francis, thank you for doing this work. So tell me, what inspired the production of Mmofra?
All right, so Mafra came out of the idea of, as I told you, when I started talking, I said I grew up on animations. I was always watching animation. I would run back home from school after school and just come and sit and watch GTV showing Cartoon Network. And up to this point, there is this sad thing where when you want to distract a child, when you want to entertain your child, and you turn on the television and place it on a children's channel, you end up feeding that child foreign content that they normally don't get represented in, where they can't really relate to, they can't find themselves in. So Mafra came from the idea of bridging all of these gaps, because it's about time that animation has been around for years, like almost a century. And it doesn't still make sense that we in Africa have not been able to represent ourselves so much in this space. So I decided to create a channel where anytime you turn on your television or you want to entertain your child, either you are in the continent or in the diaspora, you can easily give them a relatable content and something that will entertain and also educate them. Because of resources and also capacity, we decided that we are going to start from a very small point where it can be contained. So this small point is us producing a content block. So in that content block, we have about 70 minutes running time. And in this 70 minutes, we have 8 different shows. And these 8 different shows come in different genres. So we have genre for preschool kids that we love learning. We have science fiction, that's Captain Z, that talks about the environment and how to keep it clean. Yeah, but at the same time, to show you some form of science, high-tech science,
Yeah.
where she used a spaceship and all that to teleport herself to different spaces to solve problems. We have a career path show where a young geek, techie boy, his name is Joe Boy, very intelligent boy who will always assist his friends and other colleagues on career paths, because a lot of the times that we grow up and we don't really get to know what we really want to do.
Right.
But
Right.
we will be having some sort of talent, but we don't really understand what it really means to us. So Joe Boy helps his friends who are having certain talents and point them in the right direction as to what they can be. But before he does that, he's able to travel with you to someone who had such talent to mentor you. So it's like a mentor show.
Okay.
We also have family show on there where the Kuntus. So the Kuntus is like the family show that we have all the family members from grandfather to the grandchild, where they interact with each other, and
Right.
at the end of the day, there is a moral story there. You are entertained, you feel like you're watching a film, but at the end of the show, you feel you get the main theme of the story of maybe how we need to talk to each other in the house, or how we need to relate with ourselves. We also have courtesy show there, that is Way to Go. We named it Way to Go, but we spell it Way to Go. So Way to Go is basically a show where we're showing the kids, the teenagers, and even before teenage, how you can coexist with your friends, how to say simple things like thank you, how you can ask for favors like the right way. So these 8 shows, and we have Anansi, like Coco Anansi stories in there. So, and you know, Coco Anansi stories also have a lot of weight when it comes to moral story, moral level.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So all of these shows come together to form the content block, and in between them too, we have some snippets of funny things that happens. Hook them. So when you're watching Mafra, it feels like you're watching a mini TV kind of thing. Like you're in front of a TV, but it ends after 17 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I thought, you know, when I was watching it, it wasn't just one show, right? If you hear Mmofra, you think, oh, okay, just the Mmofra show. It's a platform series of shows in between. So how many shows total is on the Mmofra platform so far?
So on the content block, we have 8.
8.
Now,
Okay.
8 different shows.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And they're very interesting. I mean, I grew up, you know, in Ghana, and Captain Planet was my thing, right? I will watch Captain Planet just all day. You know, that was what I loved watching, because the storyline was good. It taught you a lot of morals. You know, it taught you a lot of things, you know, about teamwork and how to, you know, get things done. So I love watching Captain Planet. But, you know, watching Mmofra is like bringing back some of those memories, you know, because when I'm watching Captain Planet with my friends, we are learning a bunch of different things. And here we are, we get to do the same thing, get the same, you know, lessons from Mmofra, you know, because you have various things. Like you talked about, you know, growing up with your family, maybe your grandfather, your grandmother. Some of us grew up with extended families, right? And we know the value that brings, you know, knowing, you know, what, you know, learning from your grandfather, right? Your grandmother, because you're in the same household, your auntie, your uncle, they come and visit. It teaches you so much, you know. So I think it's pretty good that, you know, yes, a lot of the younger kids coming up, maybe they don't have it the same way, but through these shows, they can learn a thing or two about our culture and how we should live, you know. How did Amazon discover Mmofra? I mean, you know, you're all the way in Ghana. Yeah. The world is growing, but, you know, there are so many other things going on. There are a lot of quality things coming from Africa. How did Amazon pick yours?
All right, so One of the things that I've done or I did over the years is building a strong network and also learning about the craft of animation. Because if I'm going to run a business in this field, then I should also learn the proper way of doing things. So going to all these film festivals, winning awards here and there, meeting people, talking to people, brought me into the spaces of uh, a lot of people in terms of distributors and also content marketers.
Okay.
So as we started producing Mafra somewhere 2019, early 2019, but I had to pause the thing. I had to pause the project because of funding. The funding wasn't too strong, so we got to a point that I had to halt the project so that we can do some commercial works to sustain ourselves. Then something happened last year, 2020, where everybody felt it. COVID.
Yeah.
COVID happened, and all of a sudden, all the projects that have been booked for us to work on, all the commercials were being cancelled. Then I started feeling a bit stressed. I was like, oh my God, like, what are we going to do now? Because everyone is working. I can't lay my people off. We don't even have enough good animators around. So the small that I have, am I going to lose them because of not having any project for them and sustaining them? Then through these thinking, the idea of Mafra came back to my mind saying, hey, people are going to be in the house. Kids are not going to go to school. Parents will want to distract them or give them something to watch as they work in the house so that everything will be easy on them. So why don't you continue this project? So it felt like that God voice in my ears. Go back to that project. And as I was going back to the project, and I was telling the team, they really didn't know how like we were going to distribute it. And I also didn't know how we were going to distribute it. But I knew that I have friends in the industry who have the bigger links to such platforms. So before we were even done, a distributor friend of mine approached and was like, dude, do you have something ready? I said, I don't know. We are working on something and I don't know if it's ready or not. So what are you working on? So I told him about it and he was like, that is right. This is the right project that you need to work on now. I'll get back to you. Give me something to watch by this time and let me go pitch it somewhere. I'll be back. So I gave him samples and I was there one night. He's in the States. His office is at Manhattan. So I was there. You know, the time difference is a huge one. Like yours right now is somewhere around 9:42, and I'm sure it's like 4:42.
Yeah.
So he called me at dawn. I was sleeping. I picked up my phone, WhatsApp. It was him calling. He was like, dude, you got in. I said, I got in how? He said, yeah, you got in. Your project, Amazon Prime, is going. I said, oh, God. Like, he said, yeah. So when he said that, he didn't give me a release date, but we had already signed our contract and everything. And I was there and he started sending me images and videos of the release artwork on Times Square billboard. Like we were on Times Square.
Wow.
He sent me videos of us on billboards in Hollywood, Abu Dhabi. As I, dude, what's up?
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the move. Like, yeah, your thing. That's how it's going, and that's how it needs to be. And he's a big sucker for authentic productions coming out of Africa. So when he's pushing, he push with all his might and his energy. So
that's great.
By 19th October, Mafra went live, and we had about 70 plus blogs from all of over Africa writing about it, talking about it, interviewing us, and all that. So that is how Mafra just got onto the platform.
Wow, that is so great. And like you said, out of the sometimes misfortunes that we go through, somehow, by divine intervention, we come up with new ideas. And you had this little voice saying, "Hey, why don't you revisit Mmofra? Because this is the time. People are home. They don't have not a lot of stuff going on. Let's start working on it again." That's really good. So something good came out of this whole COVID story fiasco that we are dealing with. So we have a lot of comments coming in. I just want to take some time to read some, and there will be some few questions as well. This is from Miss Felicia Autry. She said, "This is great indeed. Thanks for giving Ghanaian children something of our own instead of learning everything from the Western world." Yeah, this is definitely good. Let's see. We have a few comments here. Very inspiring from David Sa. Then Rosemary Campbell says, "Greetings." Oh, okay. And then Miss Harriet Bechicheme says, "These children and this children animation helps our kids growing up in the Western world to learn our culture." Certainly. Francis Kodria says it's eye-opening. And David Sa again says, "There is something that bothers me a little bit about regarding the whole Western blaming." Okay, we end up blaming the West for influencing us, but Ghana needs to support its creatives. Certainly, well taken there. I think there is a question here that I will hope you can answer. Gabriel Amma says, "Hello, Francis. What advice can you give to upcoming animations in Ghana? Animators in Ghana?"
There's, like, honestly speaking, I'm not done advising myself as a person. So I don't know what would be the best words for me to tell the up and coming ones. But I'll use myself as an example, what I tell myself all the time. Like, I'm very hard on myself, honestly. So, like, you need to be very critical with whatever you do. Pay attention to details. Don't lose sight of anything, because animation process or workflow is in such a way where if stage one you say, "Oh, this is something small, I can leave it." Stage two, you do it fine, and you say, "Okay, this is something small problem, so I'll leave it." By the time you're done and you're at stage 10, you notice that all those small things you left in different stages amount to one big problem. Then your whole thing looks shaky or awkward. So I say, pay attention to details and discipline towards work. That's also one major thing, because animation is very time consuming and it needs a lot of attention. So if you're not disciplined at work, you cannot be an animator. You need to be very disciplined, and it needs a lot of patience. If you don't have patience, then maybe you might have to try something else, because animation needs a lot of time and patience to make it work. Because for you to even animate a 1 second piece, it means that you're exposing 24 frames. You're sitting down to create 24 images.
Wow.
To make them move within a second. So if you're going to create a minute, then you know that 24 times 60 seconds. That's a lot of frames to either draw or to move around in 3D space. You really need to be critical with it.
Okay. Yeah, and I think, let me also add that sometimes, we want things so fast. We want to see results, right away. Hey, we did this work, so we want to make money or, get something out of it right away.
Yeah.
From listening to you, I can understand that it doesn't take, it's not, overnight. It takes time. Sometimes you have to put it down for a couple of years and revisit it again, as you've done with some of your projects. So, having the patience to do that and making sure that we don't just do something mediocre, but something of really high quality is really valuable, because you never know who's watching and who's going to grab you, as Amazon has done. So
I mean, this particular thing that you said, let me touch a bit on it. When it comes to animation, honestly, I didn't start out with money on my mind. I never ever thought of animation as something that I'm doing as at that moment for money. So I was able to build capacity and build speed and quality.
Good.
Once I got all these things right, and I noticed that, okay, I'm running a studio. People got to feed themselves and all that. That is when the whole business idea started kicking in, and I'm like, okay, this is business, this is work. We need to make money out of it. But before then, my whole mentality was to make sure that I get it and I get it right on point.
Yeah. You say you don't have, advice to give, but this is the great advice right there. This is what people need to hear, that it takes time, take your time, craft, make sure your craft is good before you bring it out, and money can come later, and it always will come later. Trust me, once you have a quality product, money will come, I understand that you work with an agency, production agency called Afflick that I guess you work with from Amazon Prime. Can you tell us a little bit about that relationship and how that helped you with your show?
Is what I described. That's the scenario I told you earlier on, that is being run by a friend of mine. His name is Akejo.
Okay.
Yes, he was born in Ghana, but he's a Nigerian, but based in US.
Yeah. Okay.
His office is at Manhattan, so he's the one who connected the plug.
Great. All right. So I understand that, yes, Anima is receiving, the needed recognition both internationally and locally. At this point, what do you think, you need to kind of move you to the next step, the next, phase, right? I mean, Mmofra is doing very well now. What are your, what other plans are, in stock, and what should we expect from you, and what can we do, as audiences to push, your projects?
Yeah, I think I'll start by saying right now what we really need is funding for even to continue doing what we're doing with Mafra. We also need support, a lot of support, by going to stream it, watch it, so that it makes commercial sense to investors and also those supporting it from the background. Animax wants to build capacity so that we can employ in the near future. We can be employing about 300 people at a go to work on projects, big projects and simultaneous projects. So it means that we need the film institution here in Ghana and around West Africa pushing up the quality of students that they are graduating every year, because that has been a tough challenge for me over the years. Over the 6-year period, it's been very challenging for me to get very good quality students in animation graduating. So capacity building and funding, that's all.
Okay. So we have some few more comments. I'm going to read them and we'll continue. We have Vera Adobia Tumesi said, "Well done, Francis. There are many animators out there who are praying for opportunity. I guess it's about time they consider collaborating, perhaps with you or other agencies." Mr. Andrew Pokumeza says, "Congrats on your achievement thus far. Is Mmofra available to kids in Ghana?" And I think you could touch a little bit on that, whether the availability of Mmofra in Africa or in other, African countries.
Okay, so Mafra, the territory hasn't been open for Africa yet, but it will be very soon because we are negotiating with them,
Okay.
and they're opening soon.
All right. So if people in Ghana want to watch Mmofra, I guess that I just want to make that clear that they are not able to at this point.
No, at this point they are not.
Okay, unless they travel to maybe the States or
where your VPN can be accepted by. Yeah.
Okay, but there are hopes. I mean, in the very near future, because we want to have make sure that our children in Ghana are getting this opportunity as well.
You know what? I think I'll use this opportunity. I'll seize this opportunity and not be too diplomatic about it to say this. That the Ghana government needs to do something about this, where GBC should be able to even pick such a project before a foreign platform does that.
That's an excellent point.
Should be able to produce and be very proud about it, that it was shown in our homeland first before. Because I'm not too happy to be telling people that you can't watch it in Ghana, in Africa, but only those in the diaspora. But at the same time, it is business. We need to be able to recoup what we invested into the production. We need to be able to be sustainable so that we can keep producing. Well, unfortunately, if you go to our broadcasters, they don't give you good rates for very pure content like that, exclusive content. They have less regard for such creative work. So it makes it so hard for us to even consider our own before. And this doesn't sit too well with me. But if we want to stay in business and keep inspiring other creatives to join such field and make a living out of it, then all of these things should be put in place so that we are able to grow and be able to also say, hey, we built something great out of our place.
Yeah, and I think that that's an excellent point. I mean, we should be proud of the work that our people are doing, our citizens are doing, and whenever we see these this kind of quality and genuity, we need, as a society, we need to support it. We need to support it in every way we can, and as a government, it's even more important, right? That there is some kind of public-private partnership that goes in and say, okay, because there is a creative. Huge creative industry in Ghana. There is ministries that are basically given the role to ensure that they are working with these creatives. So what are they doing when they see something like this? Instead of letting it go outside the country, there is something that we can do, at least to make sure that we're having a piece of the cake, by ensuring that our kids are having the opportunity to see something like this. So I understand the business sense behind it, that, Amazon will make sure that at some point we'll go there, but they have a reason. They want to make sure that they make their money back at some point. So that's not
also, the security of your work. Like
exactly,
you give your film to a television station here right now, the next day it's being pirated. It's over everywhere. And, you lose out big time when you do stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. So, before we sign off, we have a few more questions, but I want us to take the opportunity to look at your upcoming work. I believe the title of it is Room 5. Yeah. And that's something that's coming out very soon. So let's take a look at it, and then you can tell us when it's coming out, who's in it, what this whole Room 5 is about. All right. So please just bear with us for a second as I show you this clip.
Sugar. Now the name of the mysterious mouse be that.
Oh, great. Okay, so that's room 5. Can you tell us, what room 5 is about and who is in it? Tell us a little bit about room 5, please.
All right. So room 5 is basically a short animated film that we just completed producing, and we have Christy Ukata, who is an actress she's a Nigerian but Ghana based. She did the voice for the boy. We also have our very own Yvonne Nelson playing the role of Sugar. This is the first time all these two amazing ladies are playing any roles in animation. Yeah, and room 5 is the genre for it is dark comedy. So dark comedy genre is basically using some like an uncomfortable situation to create comedy, create gags around it. So this particular story talks about, it shows how patients are being treated when we go to the hospital, like how some nurses treat people. And also there's a subplot there of how a lot of grown-ups and even kids hate injection. So a whole lot of things happen when this particular man, Kokumi, enters room 5. And room 5 is the room where our lead character, Sugar, is always cited. And once you're a patient and you enter that room, it seems like you've entered room of doom. So Kokumi enters room 5 and the whole story unfolds.
Wow. So room 5. Yeah, okay. So that's the plot behind it. And when is it coming out?
Room 5 should be dropping somewhere next week.
Okay. So this is something that obviously we can enjoy even in Ghana, right? Because
this one you visit our YouTube page to watch it for free.
Oh, even better. All right. That's great. That's great, Francis. I really appreciate this. You did mention that you are open to other investment potentials, and can you tell us how people can reach out to you? What's the best way to get in touch if somebody's interested in investing? What's the best way to get in touch with you or your organization?
The best way is through our email address. So that's hello@AnimaxFYBstudios.com. hello@AnimaxFYBstudios.com.
Okay.
Yes. And reach out to us, discuss investments. We can also discuss collaborations. You can discuss all sorts of things that will help us to grow.
Okay, that's good. So you heard it. As if you want to get in touch with Francis, you can reach his organization, his studio, at hello@AnimaxFYBstudios.com. Right. Also, we'll be putting a link on our website and our social media pages as well. If you want to take a look at the show on Amazon Prime, Mafra, there's a link there. We'll put a link to their website. Just check them out. Stay tuned. I mean, there's a lot that I see him doing. There's a lot that's coming. So you'll be entertained for sure. And also you will learn something from it. Definitely, your children are going to learn something about their culture and who they are. So definitely stay tuned. To a lot of the work that Francis is doing. Francis, really. It has been amazing talking to you. I think this is interesting. We can keep going because there are some few things I would even love to show. But in the interest of time, we'll end it here. If you have anything else that you want to put out, I would really appreciate it. There are a lot of people who are being encouraged by what you are saying. So, if you have any final words for us, we'd love to listen.
I'll say that we really appreciate the kind of support that we are getting so far. And we will also encourage more people and all of you to keep supporting us. And Animax is ours. It is something which belongs to us. So we need to protect it and elevate it with all our strength and might. And we'll also try our possible best not to disappoint you and keep lifting the banner up and up and up. And there are a lot of things on our pipelines to come out, which will excite you all. And hopefully everybody will get to see what we produce from now on.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much, Francis. And again, viewers, we appreciate you for joining us. These are the type of conversations we want to have. You know, speaking to people who are engaged and bringing us some really quality things from back home, from Ghana and across Africa, because at this stage in the world, we have to continue to support each other, right? We have to be able to support each other, because we haven't been able to do that enough. And for me, when I get inspired when I talk to people like Francis, or I see the way that they're doing, and the little I can do, or my team and I can do, is to at least let you hear from them, and hopefully you pick up something, or your child can pick up something from it, and it opens our minds. So I appreciate you for joining us. We'll continue to bring you some good quality programs as well. We have a lot of things coming up, lined up for this year. So continue to watch this space. We'll be putting something out very soon. So, please join us again in the next week or two. And, we hope you continue to support the work that Francis is doing. At the very least, if you live in the West, in the US here, or in Europe, just go to Amazon Prime. Check out his work. Check out Mmofra. There's so many things that you will learn from Mmofra. And let's, support the work that he's doing. Let's find ways to invest in his work if we can. And again, we'll put a link out to reach out to him if you need to. And again, thank you for joining us. Francis, it's been awesome talking to you, bro.
Same here. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. All right. So everyone, take care of yourself. Be safe. COVID is real. Here in Ghana and the US is real. Please be safe. Protect yourself. Wear your mask. Social distance. Wash your hands all the time, please. We want to, have you alive at the end of 2021. All right. We're hearing so many bad stories. So please, let's take care of each other, and let's, protect each other. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.